And then go green. Stay with us for all of that and more. As promised, the cars are out on the course. Their warm-up lap is well underway here at the SCCA Runoffs, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Down through the S's, up through the part of the track they call Madness, down through Thunder Valley, and back to the start-finish line is where they'll go. And as they do, let's set the grid for you here. Take a look at who'll be starting where. We've already introduced you to a few of the competitors at the very top of this show, and we'll be trying to squeeze in the rest of them as we go along. 3 championships, beginning with the new millennium in 2000 between Ron Bartel and Dan Collishaw. When Bartel wins, Collishaw finishes second, and vice versa. Randy Canfield, 5-time champion and one of the senior members of this one. They're featured in the first 10.
He actually came to the Mid-Ohio School to just kind of pick up his streetcar driving. Now he's here at the Runoffs in 2004.
Lots of racing to be done here. 20 laps will be coming up, and all of these drivers feel like they have a chance at winning them. We should tell you that Knickerbocker and Allard at the back of the field will not start the race, so if you're cheering for them, you might as well try to pick another favorite for yourself absolutely at this point. So let's go down to Sandy Hang one more time.
One more driver we haven't talked much about, and that's the number 91 car of Sean Thompson. He's hoping the luck of the Irish will be here with him at the Runoffs. 10 years, this is his 11th, and he would sure love to have a podium. Luck of the Irish because he's from Ireland. He came here back, let's see, in 1987 and started racing in 91, and he'd like nothing more than to get a medal. And he says this will be his last runoff, so this is his last shot. Let's go down to my colleague, John Bizignano. Biz?
Well, Sandy, you can see a lot of these cars running in the historic races across the country, but historic racing is really somewhat of a parade. They're not actually out there running door to door. Here you have all these old, wonderful, wonderful historic cars. Certainly takes me back to my high school days, and they're running hard. They're pushing them just as hard as they can. The drivers and cars have many times been together for over 20 years. They know exactly what each one's going to do before it happens to them. It's great racing.
And the cars include 13 Austin Healey Sprites, 3 MG Midgets, 3 VWs, 2 Triumphs, 2 Nissans, a Fiat, and 1 Lone Mini will be out there in the race. And Mike Johnson, as they get ready to go green here, the anticipation certainly builds among the fans that enjoy these venerable old cars and the guys that drive them. Here we go. We got a good start. The green flag waves. The starter likes the formation, and they're flying down towards turn number 4, one of the major passing zones, side by side. Who's got the courage?
Well, it looks like Bartel's kind of going to hold his lead, but there's a big pop from the inside from the second row, and he's going to drive right by him, get the car slowed down to keep it in line. He's going to move to first.
Yellow Spitfire, it looked like, moving into the lead. We'll quick get some numbers for you here as they do start to move around the racetrack. We got Spitfires lined up all over the front of the field. A few of those bug-eyed sprites that were so adorable when they were new cars, they haven't lost any of their cachet yet. And here they come streaming through the S's part of the racetrack. It is Tom Feller who has moved into the lead in his Spitfire. And that's the yellow car out in front right now.
You have 2 types of cars here. You've got the full prep cars, which are mainly the midgets and the sprites, and then Spitfires. These guys have 15-to-1 compression ratios, about 100 horsepower. The problem is they're just so wound out. Reliability is very key for these types of cars. And in the other class, you have the limited prep, which is like the Scirocco. They weigh 350 pounds more than this first place car you see right here.
So they give the newer cars a disadvantage with weight. They give the older cars more leeway to tune them up and twist those rubber bands till there's triple knots in them.
That's right.
Feller out in front right now, and let's go.
Well, we got a spinner coming out of 1 there.
Yep. 1 car off the racetrack, it looked like, but Feller holds on to his lead. Sandy?
I don't know, but Tom Feller has had a year of firsts this year. He just graduated from Western Michigan. He got his first job, and he would really like to have a podium here at the Runoff. So he's got a lot of nerves in this race, so we may be seeing that play out right now.
He's getting a challenge for the lead as they go side by side. Deep into the corner, it's Ron Bartel who has pulled up alongside down into turn number 4. Now we're going to see who's got real courage on the brakes down there.
Bartel might have pulled out a bit too early because he's just not far enough to actually get that pass completed. He should have stuck in the draft a little bit. But I know what he's doing right now is he's setting him up, and probably next time you see, he's going to be a little bit smarter, stay in that draft, and try to get that shot right before they get to the brake zone.
It is Ron Bartel and Dan Collishaw in 2nd and 3rd position right now. We should tell you that the defending champion, Adam Malley, will not defend. He has moved on to the GT category. Sandy?
Something not a lot of people know is that Ron Bartel's crew chief put this car together in less than a week and a half because his crew chief, Ken Farbach, was hit by Hurricane Charlie, lost his home. He lost his home, walked away from the house, came back to help his friend put this car together. Now that's dedication.
And the kind of dedication you often see here at the Runoffs. So many stories like that with drivers and their families who came up out of Florida.
Well, this whole group is such a fantastic group of guys. I mean, every single one of them would do anything they could to help the guy out. There's no one here kind of sitting in the back going, man, I really hope that Feller has a problem or something like that. You know, if anybody has a problem, they're going to help him out. In fact, John Salisbury, when he showed up this weekend, pushed a car to the trailer. It was in pieces. And everybody else gathered together, helped him put the front end back on the car, and he's out running.
That's exactly right. Your competitors will be the first ones to show up at your garage door and help you if you've got a problem. Right now, we've got 5 cars running pretty much nose to tail, and the 5th of them is John Salisbury from Gurnee, Illinois. Running in 5th spot there. He's driving one of those Austin Healey Sprites that have been pretty much the most popular car in the field since its inception in H production in 1958. First 2 titles won by Deutsche Bonnet automobiles, the 3rd by a Fiat Abarth. Then the Sprites began to take over.
Well, you can see this time he stayed tucked in the draft this time all the way down. Oh, he almost got hit right there. Right now he's just hoping that no one else comes across, trying to find a hole. Maybe looking for the corner workers waiting, saying, somebody get me back out, get me back out. But he's not moving.
Well, is it fired? We see some smoke coming out from under the car. Ron Bartel, the pole sitter, and 2-time champion in 2000 and 2001. Now he's got to wait for rush hour traffic to go by as we take another look.
He just got in way too late. Back end come around. The back end, basically he's got the brake bias. He had a little too much rear bias as he turned in. The back tires brake a little harder. Back end comes around. The cars will actually transition a little bit front to back throughout the course of the race. He just started with too much in the rear.
And he did some damage to the front end as it hopped up over that curb right there. So Ron Bartel's day, well, certainly his chances of winning this national championship are over. Whether his day is done, we're not sure just yet. In any case, there is.
Well, he is out back running. We'll have to see when he comes across the start-finish line to see where he's going to register and see what position he's in.
Your leader is Tom Feller. Ron Bartel is back on the racetrack. Feller's got a nice lead here. Notes are being taken on pit wall, and they include the 2-time champion way back in the field.
No question it's tough to qualify for the runoffs, especially if you happen to live in Hong Kong. Well, if you do, you may want a guy like Pete Voorhees to help you get a car ready. At least that's what Dan Collishaw has done. And Dan has gone a step further. He's so thankful to Pete, he actually helped him buy another car. How about that? Tell us.
Well, Peter's always been a guy real interested in the Lotus Mark, and so we've been racing the Sprite for a while, and he's been great with that, but I always knew he wanted to work on what he calls a real race car. So last winter we bought him a Lotus Europa. We're going to work on over the winter and try to put that thing on the track next year.
And Pete has money in this deal, too, so he'll be part owner. And you can see why he's got the nickname of Precision Pete.
Typically a beautiful preparation done on these race cars. Well, let's just say they've had a long time to work on a few of them as we watch the leaders, and including Dan Collishaw running in 2nd position right now. Feller looks tough up front in that yellow 71.
Yeah, he's doing. Oh, we got a car up right there, the 76 car.
That's Greg Feller out of Sylvania, Ohio, and the Feller Finch & Associates MG Midget. And he's going to climb out of the cockpit.
I guess his day's done. You can see him adjusting his Hans device. Most about everybody, all the drivers now are wearing the Hans device now.
We'll take another look at just what happened to Greg Feller in his number 76.
Same problem as as Feller had, you know, just gets a little too late to the corner. He's got too much rear brake bias. As he turns in, the rear tires lock up, and he gets hit again by the 79 car, which knocks him out. And might have knocked out the 79 car. If that was a front impact, could have put a hole in his radiator, which would definitely hurt his chances today as well.
Well, we'll be watching the 79 of David Bowles. That was that Volkswagen Scirocco that we saw at the top of the show. Here's the 90 car, Rob Harrell Jr. out of Memphis, Tennessee, in an Austin Healey Sprite. He's got some problems. He's heading through the grass and back behind the wall.
Well, we're back to the lead again, and these guys are keeping it really close. We're putting on a great race right now, a great show. See if a few of the past cars. Corner workers are doing a great job keeping this race going green by getting everything out of the way, cleaned up, and keeping the track green for racing.
I believe that was the 79 car of Bowles parked in the grass as the leaders went by. The leader is Tom Feller out of Clarkston, Michigan, in his yellow Triumph Spitfire number 71, with Collishaw stalking him. And Collishaw, a proven winner in this class, the 02 champion, may be just doing exactly that, Sandy Hank.
Just want to see if Dan's been saying anything. I'm with Precision Pete right here. He's not talking at all. What do you guess is happening?
Dan has got his hands full right now. I'm just giving them times and telling them how far cars are behind him and laps to go.
How'd you get that nickname anyway?
A lot of attention to detail.
Detail, detail, detail. Yep. Oh, he's got to grab that time here.
And he does. The information he'll be passing on to his driver is very similar to what we will tell you. He's a half second behind Feller and 4 seconds roughly ahead, actually quite a bit more than that, 12 seconds back to the battle for third and fourth between Salisbury and Crisenberry in the 34 and 05 cars. We will get a chance to have a look at them here very shortly.
Colinshaw's car looks like it's working very well for him. You don't see his car moving around anywhere. He picks his turn-in point, picks his apex, and picks his track-out point. The car follows right line. He's got a great run out of the carousel. He's going to just stuck into the draft. You don't want to pull out too soon because there's actually a kink in the back straight that they're coming up to right now. You'll get pinched off. So he chose, let me take him, try to see if I can get on the outside. There's still, you see the yellow flag there, so he can't pass. He's going to have to follow in line and wait till he gets around next time. You know, I don't know. If these cars stay out here for a few laps, that yellow might say, oh, you got a tow truck there. So probably once that tow truck gets out of the way, that yellow flag will come back, give them another opportunity to pass before this race ends.
A local yellow down there in the kink and turn 4 area as we drop back a little further in the order here.
Now, when you see a yellow like that, what it means is, you know, you hear caution, slow down, but in road racing, it's all about you cannot pass you can't pass into the yellow. So if he had gotten the pass completed in the straightaway, maybe before the kink, turn 3, it would have been okay. But if he tries to make a pass going into that corner, he would have to, he'd probably be disqualified at the end of the race. So he'd have to move back a position and give it back up before he gets to the next corner.
This is Salisbury running in 3rd spot. He's got company in the form of Sean Thompson in the 91 car, and Chris Crisenberry was with him there for a while. As we continue to watch races throughout the field, this is the 3rd and final podium spot, the bronze medal position, if you will, currently held by John Salisbury. Crisenberry and Thompson are just behind him. H Production National Championship at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Brian Drever along with Mike Johnson, Sandy Heng, and John Bizignano. We're enjoying a very entertaining H Production competition here at the 2004 Runoffs. And right now it is still the number 71 Tom Feller out in front, but not by much, over Dan Colishaw as we are about a third of the way through this 20-lap race.
I'm really enjoying watching Dan Colishaw right now. His car is just so tidy and so precise. This track really rewards tidy, precise driving, making sure you hit every one of your apexes. These cars do not have a lot of horsepower. They're a momentum car. You need to just keep the car flowing. That's that patient aggression we talk about. You have to be aggressive. You have to charge into the corners, but a little too much, you get the car sideways, you wear out your tires. You're going, oh, we got a slow car here into the carousel, two of them.
We've got a lot.
Oh, they're almost stopped up there, so they just drove right through them.
They thread the needle as 2 cars are trying to get to pit road. The leader's father is nervously watching along pit wall to see how long his son can hang on to this lead and perhaps earn a championship.
Well, he probably saw what we saw going into the carousel. You can just see that bit of the track from the pit road, and he's saying, look out, 2-stop cars. You know, I've seen cars blow motors there, and everybody, the whole field flies off in that corner. He's just saying, look, you know, slow down, slow down. We're coming into the keyhole right now. And again, he's just, you know, he's just staying right there, just not getting any pressure. We're not even halfway into this race yet. Let the 71 car burn off his tires, burn off his brakes. You know, it doesn't matter who leads every lap. It just matters who leads the last one.
Well, both of these cars looking very, very confident in the handling department. And if anything, the 71 is just as good, if not slightly better, through the back part of the racetrack. The S's, here's where Colishaw gets a great drive off the keyhole and has tried to make a move a couple of times before down the back straightaway.
Again, Feller doing a really good job of protecting the inside line. If he goes too far inside, he'll be way too slow through this last turn or turn 4 going into the S's. So he wants to make it a tough try to go to the inside. So he's going to just kind of stay in the middle of the road. Maybe the last second pop to the outside and take the perfect apex through turn 4.
Chuck Feller doing a not so good job of disguising his nervousness there as he looked calm and collected, but you could tell from the stopwatch taking a beating on the roof of the golf cart that he's into this.
Yeah, I've been racing with my father forever, and I know he just gets just as nervous watching me go around. He said, oh, it looked like we were going to get a pass there, but he always said, you know, it's harder watching him than it was, or harder watching me than it was driving himself.
Well, that's usually the case, and that is the second best job, which would be on pit wall, watching somebody else behind the wheel. As we are looking at the leaders once again, Feller and Collishaw running 1-2 right now as they come off the final corner and across the start-finish line to end lap number 8.
Collishaw is just sitting right there waiting. A bit's between the teeth. He's just not, no reason to push it now. We're not halfway in. His car looks like it's working great. Took a much earlier line through there, which might not help him get out of there so quick, but he's still hanging right on his bumper.
Nice tight line coming off of turn number 1. Looking at the number 22 car and running in 7th position, it's Matt Brannon.
This is the guy we talked about earlier. Matt Brannon, a local guy from Columbus, who goes home every night to get to work, have dinner at home with the family in this Fiat, the lone Fiat in the class.
Fiat X19. There it is, looking at it straight from the front with one of those bug-eyed sprites. You can't help but smile when you see the front end of one of those cars.
They need to paint a little smiley face on those cars.
Here are the leaders once again, and Collishaw is just shadowing Feller as he has for every lap of this race so far. Let's go down to John Bizignano.
Well, just a note on Tom, our leader. Last year he finished second in this race. It was a very hard-driven race. He felt that he certainly earned it, but in tech inspection after the event, he was found, as we say, non-compliant to the rules, something he really didn't know about. And he's looking for a little bit of extra justice. He does not want to be in second place anytime during this weekend, and right now he's going to hold on to that lead to the end, guys.
Well, the SCCA officials that handle tech inspection have gotten pretty good at it over the years at H Production. They've had plenty of practice, so the least little thing is certainly going to be more obvious to them than it might be to the average person, especially a young competitor like Tom Feller. Well, there's tools that they hope will not have to be used, and we'll be right back.
Two years ago, Andrew Wright was watching Speed Channel cover the SCCA championships, and he heard this very talented pit reporter with an Italian last name say, "Get off the couch, go racing, buy a race car." The next year, which was last year, you were here, and now you're back. How much fun are you having racing this thing?
Having more fun than I could possibly imagine. It's fantastic. People that you meet are great. Going to different tracks all around the country, absolutely fantastic. Can't beat it.
It's a Huffacre car. Joe comes around, still looks at it.
Still comes around and looks at it just to make sure that I'm not messing it up too bad. And it just runs great.
Listen, guys, get off the couch. Be like Andrew. Buy a car, go racing, don't watch it, do it.
All right, well, Andrew Wright, unfortunately, has retired from the competition, helmet off much as it was in that feature piece, and so we'll wish him better luck next year.
I don't think that's a spot I'd want to be sitting without a helmet on right now, to be honest. Can't really tell exactly where he is, but I guess he's got a corner worker standing there. He's not even in the protection of a car. Oh, he's in the carousel, or he's in the old chicane leading into the keyhole, so he's plenty safe up there.
That's what we would sometimes call turns 2 and 3 when they do use that chicane. Here are the leaders, no problems for them. In the 71 Sprite of Tom Feller out in front right now. Dan Collishaw is still right behind him. If anything, Feller has perhaps gained a little bit of an advantage, at least through that part of the track where he's good, back in the back leading to Thunder Valley.
Well, we're almost halfway through the race now, and they're just starting to approach some lap traffic, so it's going to be so key for Mr. Feller to just get right by him at the exact spot, because if he doesn't and box him up a little bit, Collishaw should be able to get right by him.
Dan Collishaw, once again, the 2002 champion, runner-up to Ron Bartel each of the previous 2 years. Bartel has moved himself after an early off-track excursion from 20th up to 8th position. So yes, Ron Bartel may not have a chance to win this race because he is back quite a ways, but he's certainly romping through the field in fine order. There's that one lone Mini in the race, and it is the number 2 of Mark Kearney out of Pennsylvania. Kearney's first time at the runoffs. He was a crewman for 28 years before he decided to go racing. And there he is behind the wheel.
And there's Bartel again. He's been all the way back up with that pass, just moved back up into 7th. His car still looks real strong, real tidy. We might be able to see he's about 15 seconds right now behind the 6th place car of Barrick. So he still has a way to go, but we're only halfway through the race. There's an outside chance for him to still see him on the podium.
Well, he's certainly running hard through the field in that number 4 car, the pole sitter, in the Valvoline-sponsored MG Midget. And flinging the thing around pretty good, driving awful hard. You wonder maybe if he had been up front, Now there's that Fiat X19, a battle for 8th position behind Bartel right now. Brandon and Cummings in the number 32 car. Mike Cummings out of California in an Austin Healey Sprite.
Yeah, there's good battles all up and down the track here. It's one of the great things about the runoffs is you get all the best drivers from your class, and you get your one chance to race with your class. And all the other nationals you have to do throughout the year, you're racing, there's probably E production, F production, G production, H production, all together at once. This is the only race of the year where only these guys get to race against each other.
Nice tight race up front as Tom Feller tries to hold off Dan Collishaw. He's been successful so far as we've just moved into the second half of this 20-lap race at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So we'll watch the leaders for you. They have looked pretty much like this for the first 10 laps. You can be certain that the next 10, they'll be trying to make it look a lot different. If you're just joining us here for H Production Championship Racing, let's bring you up to speed here for the first half of the race. Under the green flag, your early leader was Ron Bartel. The 90 car goes whirling around. Rob Horrell Jr. out of Memphis, Tennessee. And then it was Bartel's turn as he was running in second position. Backs it up into the grass and was able to get going again and is up to 7th place. Incidents around the racetrack took out a couple of the favorites, including the 76 Greg Feller and Tom Bowles there. And the 33 car, the most recent victim, Andrew Wright, off the racetrack. There's Tom Feller still leading Collishaw, and now I'm going to say Collishaw's gotten closer.
These guys are putting on an amazing battle. It's just so much fun to watch. I know the fans are having a great time. It's even great race on TV. I mean, looks like Collishaw's cars now just maybe starting to go away from them. They've grooved the track this year. So they actually, in almost every class this weekend, the pole position was knocked down by a half a second. These grooves are wearing the car's tires just a little bit more than anybody's used to. So, you know, the tires are kind of going away maybe a few laps before anybody's anticipating. Well, first they ground a lot of the high spots where there are concrete patches which meet the original asphalt. They've ground them level so there are fewer bumps. But then they put grooves in there in the cement, the freshly ground cement for traction. Here's Ron Bartel, still running in 7th position, Sandy Hain.
Well, I want you to meet his crew chief, Ken Farbach. I think you win the award for dedication from a crew chief, having your home destroyed by Hurricane Charlie, leaving it behind and putting this car together for him.
Well, I had a lot of help. Joe and Peter, who's crew chief for the number 8 car, really helped us out. We were able to get the motor together in about a week and a half. So to come here, a little bit of a diversion from Hurricane Charlie.
What do you think now? It seems that he's working his way back up ahead. Can he still come forward and maybe make a podium out of this?
We'd like to see it. He's back by about 20 some odd seconds, so it's a long stretch to the podium, but you know, he's driving hard.
But if there's a caution, you never know.
You never know.
Okay, that's Ken Farbach, guys.
All right, well, Ron Bartel, no shortage of fans around this racetrack that would like to see him mount the podium as well, and that would be a truly heroic effort, and I think as crew chief said it best, it's a long reach to a podium spot.
This is a one-off race. You can never give up on this race. You just never know what's going to happen. I mean, cars come together, as you say, a yellow flag brings him up. He's in 7th place. He's only a few car lengths behind the leader if we get a yellow flag with 8 laps to go.
Here we're watching a battle for 12th position. Dale Frame in the number 80 car, and Austin Healey Sprite just in front of the 62 Nissan 510 of Gregory Plush out of Reston, Virginia. Frame is from Michigan. So these two guys have come together at the SCCA runoffs, and that's really what this event is all about, bringing in the best drivers from each of the divisions around the country to one spot to race and call yourself a national champion.
The SCCA runoffs is a really long week, and sometimes even if you know maybe you don't have the car or you're not really ready for the runoffs, you just come anyway because it's going to be a great time. And you know, most of these guys, this is where all their friends are. They're doing this every weekend with their buddies, and yeah, they might not be able to win, but it's better than staying at home. They say, you know what, I'm going to runoffs anyway. I'm hanging out with my friends, and I'm going to give it my best shot. Well, we've called it the Olympics of motorsport. You could also think of it as Woodstock with race cars out there on the track. Instead of rock and roll music, we have the noise of H Production Racing here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Feller, Collishaw, nose to tail as they have been for every lap. We're on lap number 13 right now, and shortly it'll be 6 to go. Let's go down to John Bizignano again.
Well, thanks, guys. Chuck Feller is the crew chief and father of our leader, Tom. Chuck, I think you're going to wear out these shoes before your son wears out those tires. You're pacing pretty good here, buddy.
Well, I've just got to use up the nervous energy somehow.
Okay, now listen, when he comes underneath the bridge, that 8 car is just right up his exhaust, but he seems to pull away from him on the backside of the course.
Tom has always been fast at the backside of the course. even his first year here when he was underpowered, he was always able to make up time back there. So
he's driving that car very hard, guys. Remember I said earlier, he does not want to be out of the lead for a single lap.
Well, to go flag to flag, that just is icing on the cake, Mike Johnson, if you can win the race and do it in dominating fashion, even if you got a guy right on your tail. So we'll see if Tom Feller can make that happen or if Dan Collishaw can pull off the win here as we get down to the last 5 laps in this one very shortly. Welcome back to the H Production Championship at the SCCA National Championship 2004. The leaders are going to get into traffic a little bit more here now, and that could make things very interesting indeed, as Tom Feller has been holding off Dan Collishaw successfully on what has been mostly an open track. A certain amount of attrition really has played into their hands, as we've had a pretty good handful of cars have gone out of this race. Dropping back a little bit, here's a great race between the 05, Chris Krisenberry, and the 34 car racing with him for third, John Salisbury, side by side.
Great. That was an absolute perfect textbook pass. Just draft all the way down the back straight, wait for the last chance, pop out, and that puts the 05 car up onto the podium right now.
Salisbury trying to get him back here, and I thought they might cross wheels and he'd get it done. Let's go to Sandy Hain for an update.
Well, as I mentioned at the start of the race, Krisenberry has been here at the Runoffs for 10 years, and it's the first time in this class, so he was a little bit concerned going in. He hasn't raced against any of these guys before. Was trying to take notes during practice, making sure he understood who was who and how they would race him. Now he's into the situation where he can use some of those notes, those mental notes that he took. His best finish is 4th here, so he's in a tremendous spot to do a lot better than his previous finishes here at the Runoffs.
Currently in 4th, just lost that 3rd position to the 05 car of Salisbury.
Yeah, I talked to John Salisbury earlier.
Sorry, Krisenberry passed Salisbury for 3rd. There we go.
Right, yeah. He likes to go by the name of John Jr. The fun thing about this class is it's so much fun for us to sit and watch the drivers. I mean, look at his hands moving. You know, these guys aren't just sitting in the car behind a video game. They're really working it. Their hands are moving all over the place. I guarantee they're sweating in there. Their legs are moving. A lot of neck, even in these cars, the strength in their neck just to hold their heads up going through these corners.
Just as good as the battle for 1st is this battle for 3rd right now, as they too will come into some lap traffic.
Oh, that's a tough move, and they're just going to drag race down the side. It's who's got more motor. And right now, Salisbury's in a great position because he's on the inside as they get to this kink. Hopefully the 05 car won't pinch him in too much. And he's going to give him the room as they cross the kink. We're going to the back. I don't know if this lap car is going to get in the way.
Ooh, it's going to get in Krisenberry's way before it does Salisbury as they go in deep.
I think John Jr. is going to use him a pick. He does it. Oh, what a great move. What a great, just slid right in between the two.
And here they go. Almost contact again as the 34 comes back at him. Salisbury trying to regain the spot, gets a little push.
They might look like vintage cars. They're definitely not racing them like vintage cars. They're going for it.
Throwing these things around like they're brand new, and they make plenty of them, but most of these cars are pretty rare by now. Here we go. The 05 of Chris Krisenberry, the yellow car in front of the 34. John Salisbury out of Illinois. Krisenberry is from Michigan.
Yeah, they're coming into turn 11 here, one of the fastest corners on the track. Looks like Salisbury's car's real quick through these high-speed corners because he's up to pull up a little bit. The 05 car's just slowing down a little bit too much as they get in there, so Salisbury's able to just close the gap going into these corners. But he comes off the corner. Krisenberry comes off the corner real strong, and he's able to keep the lead down the straightaway.
So Krisenberry remains in front as they cross the finish line to finish lap number 16. So we're inside 4 to go for the 3rd place and 4th place cars, as we are for the leaders.
Yeah, great battles all up and down the track today.
This is Chris Krisenberry and John Salisbury, 3rd and 4th position. Here are your leaders. Collishaw once again shows the leader, Tom Feller, what his number 8 Precision Peters Fabrication Sprite looks like, and then falls back in line again, maybe trying a little something, testing a move for one of the last laps of this race.
Well, that's exactly right. Collishaw might be saying, hey, look, I'm going to go to the outside. Oh, we got Bartlett in the pits now. Yep. Bartel in the pits.
Ron Bartel pulls down pit road while Tom Feller's dad continues to wear out shoes and a stopwatch. This is the way they stand. That's where they started. We'll be right back. Up front once again here at the SCCA National Championship, the Olympics of Motorsports, as we finish lap number 17 with the leader Tom Feller, who has led all of them. And Dan Collishaw in the number 8 Austin Healey Sprite, right behind him, as he has been through all those 17 laps.
Well, Feller's definitely the young gun in this class, so he might have some of this mental and physical stamina that's needed to survive these 20 laps.
Yeah, but I'm going to vote for age and treachery, and Dan Collishaw, who's been waiting. Maybe he sees something he can exploit, but Feller may not have shown his best moves yet either.
Got a great battle for 5th here, 91 and 72 car. The 91 car, that's Sean Thompson from Ireland. Really exciting paint job on that car. As it goes by, it goes from a blue to a teal to a green. Really neat car to watch. But these guys are great battle. I got to go for the Scirocco because that's the only car that was built in at least my era.
Don Barrick's driving it hard, as he does. You mentioned he is an evasive driving instructor, or basically a survival driving instructor. So Barrick trying to survive in 6th position right now behind Sean Thompson.
Yeah, last year he ended up on the roof of that thing and got it all back together. He told me he put that car together with 3 other cars. He's got the front of one car, the back of another, and the roof of a third, and that's what he showed up with.
Stitched one together.
Yeah.
Don Barrick, sorry, in the number 72.
Oh, he's going.
Yeah.
Great pass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the lap traffic.
No, that's not going to matter. He's going to make it. Don Barrick's going to take the spot and move up to 5th.
I think maybe Sean Thompson was using some of that English politeness when he saw the guy wave and said, "Oh, we'll just slow down up here."
Cheerio.
And Don said, "I'm going right by."
And he did, as Don Barrick now in front in that sedan-style car, the 91 of Sean Thompson, another Austin Healey Sprite. Again, the most popular entry in this one. 13 of them took the green flag here today, or 13 were scheduled to do so. Now your leader is Tom Feller once again as they move through some lap traffic with Dan Collishaw still in tow, and we're inside 2 laps to go.
Well, he's going to definitely running out of time here for Collishaw. You know, I think he's got the car in the back straight. It's just, is he willing to let it all hang out there and stick it in the hole that might not be there? Just to, you got to. It's the runoffs. It's a one shot. You're either national champion or you're not. You got to take the shot when it's available.
There isn't a lot of difference on the racetrack between 1st and 2nd place, but there's a huge difference when you sit down with your buddies afterwards and say, I got 2nd instead of 1st.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because one medal's gold and the other's silver.
And here he comes again. Collishaw can pull up where Feller can see him in the mirrors, but he can't get any closer than this, or at least he hasn't so far.
Well, Collishaw has definitely done a great job. He's been setting up that outside pass, lap after lap after lap. I bet on the last lap, white flag, he's going to the inside.
Here we go, back to Barrick and the 91 of Sean Thompson again. Barrick still made the pass a while ago, and he's making it stick.
Yeah, he's just holding it up. He's just going down the back straight now. He's pulled out a little bit of the lead. That Scirocco, it's not fully prepped like the MGs and the Sprites and stuff. So what he's got the ability. His car's not as heavily tuned and worked over. It might be reliability, might be his ability right now.
And Sean Thompson may indeed have a motor going a little soft on him or something. We don't know. We're just guessing. And here we are with Crisenberry and Salisbury again, and at the moment it is the 34 of John Salisbury who has taken over the podium spot again.
Well, there's definitely a lot of pride for the last position on the podium, and when you come here and you work all week and you work all year, you want to say at the end of the year, I finished on the podium of the runoff. These 2 guys will fight to the end for that last spot.
And it's a big difference, just as it is between 1st and 2nd, between a medal and none, 3rd and 4th.
Absolutely.
Chris Crisenberry's best finish was 4th prior to this 2004 championship. He had it improved by 1 spot. Now he's going to have to get it again on the final lap of the race. We're down in to the last lap.
Both these guys are in Hoosier, so their entire life should be about the same, and they should have relatively equal cars going into this last lap. A little bit of smoke coming out of the yellow car. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem here at the end. But he's going to try an outside move. Now he's going to the inside. There it is. That's what you got to do. Fake to the outside. 34 car can only make 1 move. Perfect setup. Now if he can just keep it underneath him. Now 34. Salisbury might be able to get a read. Oh, he's tapping him.
Just a little tap. But
there's going to be some words. That's, you know, everyone knows you're allowed 1 move, and I think that was about 8 coming out of the keel there. A little bump drafting going on. This race is far from over.
Oh, yeah. And Salisbury did let him gather it up.
That's Salisbury's 3rd radiator, I think he's on right now. He's going to work on. He's going to try the same thing out to in. Oh, no, he's staying with it.
Oh, and Chris Crisenberry seems to have a measure of determination that is just equal. Salisbury's going to get him again.
Tapped him again.
And a little bit of rear tire smoke coming off Chris Crisenberry's 05 car. That might have been a little mistake. It opens the door for Salisbury again, but it's a left-hander.
Can't go 2x2 through here. You're not going to make a pass into this corner. It's just too light of a break. You don't stop the car. Oh.
Up to the leaders. Tom Feller is going to cross the stripes just a little bit alone. Chuck can relax now. Feller's got his national championship, and second place will go to Dan Collishaw. Here goes Crisenberry and Salisbury into the final few
One last spot to pass. It's got to be into the carousel. You just got to throw it into the inside. Use the 05 as your brake pedal. He's not close enough. He's not going to be able to get it done. You're going to see Crisenberry finish third here.
And Chris Crisenberry will have his bronze medal. John Salisbury will finish fourth. The best race of the H production class was for third and fourth place, the final spot on the podium. You can't see the smile, but you can see the glimmer in the eyes of Chris Crisenberry as he comes around. And there's certainly a lot of jubilation in the Feller camp as they have taken a national championship in H production here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. What a great race for first and second and for third and fourth. Let's go to Bizignano with the dad and crew chief.
That's the first he said the whole race. Yeah, this is great.
Well, you can finally relax here a little bit, Dad.
Yeah.
What did he say to you on the mic after the race?
He said this was great. He really had a good time.
You said something about a graduation present or something?
Oh, I said that he graduated from college in June. In fact, he hasn't driven since then. He was at the June race, national race here in June, and then he had to pack up and move and start a new job. So I'm surprised he picked it up as quick.
Well, I don't think you could have survived any more racing between June and now. I'll tell you, congratulations, Pop.
Our congratulations as well to Tom Feller from Clarkston, Michigan. In his Triumph Spitfire has taken home the gold in the H production class here at the SCCA Runoffs. We'll be back with more after this. H Production Championship racing is over here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We have a very deserving winner who led every lap, and he's with Sandy Hang.
Tom Feller now is getting his championship medal, class champion, a fantastic race for you. You know, your family was telling me that this has been a year of firsts for you, graduating from college. Your first job, and now your first Runoffs championship.
It's great, it really was. You know, it's tough. He pushed me the whole time. Dan Collishaw, he ran me real hard, and it was a good, clean race, no bumping or anything. Goodyear gave me an awesome tire that just didn't go away. I pushed it the whole time, and nothing ever faded, so it was great. I got to thank my dad, first of all. He's the whole reason I'm here. He puts the whole thing together. This is the reason it's fast. I'd like to thank Danny Kellermeyer at DJ Racing, Dwayne Bailey at West Michigan Imports, and EJ Thumb at Brinks Machine.
Fantastic. Now, I know Collishaw was pushing you. Was it tempting to keep checking your mirrors instead of focusing on what's ahead? What was going through your mind at some of those moments?
This one, and one eye on the road. It was back and forth. It was tough. And he kept getting a run on me out of the keyhole, and then I seemed to have a little more top end power, and I was able to stay in front of him.
Well, congratulations, Tom Feller, your class champion. Let's turn it over to my colleague, John Bizignano. Biz?
Dan Collishaw, you had maybe the most exciting view of the whole track. You were filling the mirrors of that leader, but you just couldn't get by him.
Yeah, we were real close everywhere in the track and on the back straight. I could get up alongside him by the kink about halfway down, but then his bigger torque motor would take over, and he'd just sort of motor away in the second half of the straight. And he's a good late breaker, and he didn't put a wheel wrong the whole race. So congratulations to him. It's good.
Coming under the bridge at turn one, you were side by side also.
Yeah, we got side by side a few times. But it was good, clean racing. He gave me room. I think I gave him room. So it was good, clean racing, and Tom just drove a great race. Didn't put a wheel wrong.
Well, our national champion from 02 didn't quite make it to the first place podium today, Sandy Hang.
Well, Mr. Crisenberry, what a fantastic run. We just couldn't keep our eyes off that battle.
It was a lot of fun. Yep, I enjoyed myself immensely. My good pal John here.
We got to bring Salisbury in here. Come on, you guys put on quite a show.
Well, that's what production car racing's all about. Close kind of, side-by-side racing. We had a lot of side-by-side, didn't we?
What was going through your mind when you guys were in that battle?
I was trying to see who had the most plow in our car. I don't know, It just was a lot of fun. My tranny locked in gear there, and that's why the two front runners got away from me. And I tried to let you by, but I don't think you saw it. It was under full course yellow. I was trying to wave you by, but and then it came fixed, so we had enjoy ourselves out there.
It worked out. Congratulations, third place finish for you. And these guys were giving each other a hug after the race. They enjoyed it so much. Fierce competitors, but still friends, guys.
All right, Mike, I think it came down to who had a little more room in his seat at the end of this one. I mean, that was some courage going down in there between those two guys for third and fourth. Here are all the results, and our congratulations to each and every one of them. Don Barrick, the driving instructor, the man who does all kinds of high-risk maneuvers, managed to round out the top 5. And we hope that the name of your favorite H-Production driver is in this list of stuff. And, Mike, boy, it was entertaining, wasn't it, right at the end?
That was one of the most fun races I've seen this year. I mean, I know those guys were sweating in the cars. I was sweating up here just watching them.
And yes, indeed, Mike and I were nerfing each other just as hard up here in the booth as they were out there on the racetrack, and it was a very, very entertaining event. For some, it turned out better than for others. For former champion Ron Bartel, not a repeat here in 04. A terrific competition that just puts the icing on the cake for another season here in 04. For John Bizignano and Sandy Hang and Mike Johnson up here in the booth, I'm Brian Drever thanking you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.